Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Sunil here.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
sir.
1 minute, please. Amol, thank you. Arvind, welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Arvind. Hi, Raju. How are you doing? Sachin, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, sir.
So, did you practice what we have discussed? Creating Windows machine, creating Linux machine.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Sampath. Shavan, welcome.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Any questions, Shavan? Sneha Reddy.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Srini.
Yeah,
Good evening.
yeah, good evening.
Venkat. Can you hear me, Venkatesh Reddy? Okay. So,
Sir, sorry
yes,
for disturbing.
no problem.
Before starting the session, I have a question. So
Yes.
actually, I'm staying outside India. So actually, these timings are not suitable for me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get recorded sessions daily?
Yeah, you can get it. Check with the management. Okay. Speak same
Yeah,
concern with the management.
yeah. Actually, I talked with the management from past 2 days. I have been talking to them. So I
Mm-hmm.
have a doubt like, can I get the daily sessions without delay? A recorded session?
Maybe it can be delayed for a few hours. That's it. But definitely you get the session.
Yeah, few hours is fine, but I'm saying like daily I need the recorded session, what you are teaching.
I think you will get it. Check with the management, Sneha.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Even the
Okay,
recordings
Sunil.
are shared to other participants. Like same way, you'll also get the recordings.
Okay.
So by looking at the recordings, you can understand the concept.
Yeah. So if I
Many
have any
participants
doubts,
will do that. Many participants will do that. Okay. If the timings are not suitable, they just
mm,
go through the recordings.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Sunil.
Okay, I think the management is talking to you on chat. Yeah,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
respond.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Arvind, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What did we discuss in the last class?
We are discussing last class creating the Linux machine and understanding the concept of PuTTY and PuTTY-Gen.
Can you tell me what is
And
footage?
this PuTTY-Gen is to connect the machine. To connect the Linux machine, we are generating the first. We are generating the through PuTTY. We are generating the .ppk file, and by PuTTY-Gen, PM file, converting the PM file to PPK file.
Okay. Okay. Arvind, what is security group?
What, sir?
What is security group?
Security group is nothing but ports needs to be open, and like
Handling the ports.
handling the SSH through
Ports
SSH port we have connected the Linux machine.
Yes, you are right. And using HTTP port, we have connected to the machine using the browser. Is it?
Yes.
So if you want to handle those ports at any point of time, if you want to add a new port or if you want to remove an existing port, you can do that by using the
Yes,
concept of security groups. Last time we have
security
seen
group.
it, right? So we are unable to connect to browser. We have selected the security group. We have added the HTTP port. Then you are able to communicate using the browser.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today's concept is very interesting again. The concept of load balancer. Shaman, can you guess what do you mean by load balancer? Can you guess, Shravan, the concept of load balancer? What do you mean by load balancer? Sachin, what do you think is the concept of
Sir.
load balancer?
Yes, sir. According to me, load balancer is somehow the concept that if our EC2 we have means we have created the 30 GB space to our and 1 GB RAM to our EC2 machine,
Is it
and if somehow
yes, you're right.
yeah, and if somehow the traffic is increases or the means the resources utilize the completion resources utilize the complete 30 GB or 1 GB of storage, automatically our EC2 get elastic approach and means we get the more resources automatically.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes, the concept is almost right what you're saying, Sachin. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, Sachin, we
Yes.
all know what is Flipkart. We all know what is Amazon. It's a shopping site, isn't it? We can do online shopping. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Sachin, okay. So if I want to open
Yeah.
Amazon, so what I'll do, I want to open Flipkart. So what I'll do, I'll just open the window and then I write Flipkart. Am I right? I'll open the Flipkart site and whichever I want, I will browse it and I can buy the product. Am I right? Isn't it? You can see my screen, Sachin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you
Yes,
see
sir.
my screen? Okay, fine. The point is, so Flipkart will regularly monitor the traffic, isn't it? They know how much average visitors will be there every month or every day, isn't it? So according to that, they'll maintain the infrastructure of the web server. The point is, but when the traffic increases, suddenly assume that Flipkart is announcing a sale. Okay, sale coming next week, Sunday, very big sale. At that point of time, definitely the traffic will increase, isn't it? So when the more number of traffic increases, so because of the load in the web server can go down. Am I right? Because of the more traffic, the server can go down. So to overcome this problem, what we have to do is we'll create one web server. We'll create a second web server. And then we'll create load balancer. How many web servers we'll be creating? 2 web servers. And what we'll do, we'll create a LB, stands for load balancer. Then we attach the EC2 machines to the load balancer. EC2 machine 1, EC2 machine, we attach it to load balancer and then we provide the load balancer DNS name to the users. Whenever users visits a website, let's say I'm a user, it could be facebook.com, it could be amazon.com. Whenever user access the particular request, then load balancer will distribute the traffic rather than dumping complete load into one EC2 machine. They will distribute the traffic so that the load will be balanced. So what is the advantage? The servers will not go down. The business will not get affected. Have you anytime seen Facebook going down? No. Nothing happens. Have you anytime Twitter, Paytm, is it down anytime? Very less, right? So we can avoid the downtime by using the concept of load balancer. Clear about the concept of load balancer. So let us experience this concept of load balancer practically. Okay. So what will be, look at the definition. Here in this case, load balancer will accept the incoming traffic. The load balancer will accept the incoming traffic from the clients and routes the request to the EC2 instances. These EC2 instances are also called as targets. Who will receive the traffic? The load balancer will receive the traffic and the load balancer will distribute the traffic to divert the traffic to the targets. Load balancer should also monitor the health of the registered target. Load balancer responsibility is, Srini, the responsibility of the load balancer is to monitor the health of the registered target because of some reason suddenly if only one website you are not maintaining the load balancer. Assume, Srini, for your business, you are not maintaining any load balancer because of some reason. If that particular web server is down, let's say operating system failure or hardware failure, whatever it is, if that particular EC2 machine is down, that means the complete site is down. You're losing your business. So what happens is, in case if you attach multiple EC2 machines, so load balancer not only just distributing the load. First responsibility of the load balancer is to distribute the load. That's responsibility number one. Second responsibility, load balancer should also monitor the health. Is EC2 machine working fine? Is the second EC2 machine working fine? It should regularly check the EC2 machines whether they're working fine or not, and ensures that the traffic is diverted only to the healthy targets. Let's say if this particular site is down, the load balancer should not divert the traffic to that particular target. It should divert the traffic to only the healthy target, so that the users will not have any effect. End users will not have any effect. They can proceed with the task. Clear? So when load balancer detects an unhealthy target, it stops routing the traffic to that target. Then it resumes the traffic when the target it detects other unhealthy. It is our responsibility. It's an AWS engineer's responsibility to fix this target, to fix this error. Once it is error fixed, again star load balancer will start using this particular traffic, using this particular target. So there are two important advantages of load balancer. Number one, distributing the traffic. Number two, load balancer should regularly monitor the health. It should regularly check the health of the EC2 machines. If one web server is down, the request should not be sent to that particular web server. The request should always send to the healthy web servers. Clear? This is the concept of load balancers. Any question in understanding the concept of load balancer? Any question in understanding the concept of load balancer? Yes, Srini.
What is it? So I'm not sure. I'm just asking with the plain mind. So do we have a different types of load balancers, or it is just a concept?
No, there are different types of load balancer. We have network load balancer, we have application load balancer, we have classic load balancer in AWS. Generally, for web servers, we go for classic load balancer. Okay. We'll see now practically how to create a load balancer, and we'll see practically how load balancer is distributing the traffic now.
And how does it manages? What is it? How, I mean, which node has the less traffic, or which node has the more traffic? How to divert? I mean, is there any algorithm?
There is something called Route 53 call service, where it will monitor which is having more traffic, which machine is more busy, which machine is less busy. That is a service done by Route 53. Coming to load balancer, what it will do, it will equally distribute the traffic. Okay. If you're getting 10 requests, 5 will be sent to machine 1, 5 second, next 5 will be sent, the other 5 will be sent to machine 2. Equally distributes the traffic. Okay, irrespective of the network traffic.
But how does it do? So does it follow any algorithm or something?
It uses algorithm. It exactly distributes the traffic. We'll see that really practically. Okay. Let's say if you don't want to equally distribute the traffic, let's say 30% you want to directed to one server, 70% you want to divert to other server. Okay. This kind of sharing, if you want to do it, that can be possible by using a Route 53 concept, where you can divert the traffic according to the network. Okay. Srini?
Yeah, sure.
But here, coming to load balancer, it just equally distributes the traffic. Okay. Sometimes, as I said, client says that I want 20% of the traffic to be handled by the first machine, 80% of the traffic should be diverted to second machine. So that is possible, not by using load balancer concept. That is possible using one more service for us.
And the infrastructure for machines, where I mean, who will get the traffic from the load balancer, are having this equal infrastructure, or it again depends. We can
it's always general tendency is to maintain equal infrastructure with all the targets. Okay, it's up to us, because we are the person who will be creating the infrastructure, right? So it's up to us to create the infrastructure as per the budget.
Sir, can we use F5 load balancer here?
Yes. Which one?
F5 load balancer. F5.
So we use classic load balancer. We'll see this sometime.
In general, can we use here, or we can use outside of this AWS.
Well, not outside of the AWS. We should use inside the AWS. That's not FI. It should be the load balancer what AWS provides is called as classic load balancer.
Okay.
Okay, Sambar, I'll show you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
Yes, Sunil, I have one
yes,
question.
Sambar.
Yeah, if suppose the one application is Flipkart, so Flipkart, we have allocated some 30 GB space for hard disk and 1 GB for RAM. But due to some Flipkart sale, it is allocated, and then it means AWS is automatically load balancing. So it will it so the Flipkart have to pay those increase the size of AWS.
No, repeat your question. You have 1 GB RAM and 30 GB hard disk, assume, Amul, as you
Yeah,
said.
yeah,
So
yeah, correct. So due to Flipkart sale, so it is occupied all the data, means occupied all the
traffic is
sites.
increasing and the machine is busy.
Yeah,
That's what you're
yeah,
saying, right?
yeah,
Yes.
correct. So then how means it will
How can we
so
handle that
Flipkart,
failure? So if this traffic is
yeah,
still
but
getting increasing,
Flipkart have
there
to
is a
pay the
concept.
charge for.
Obviously, there is a concept called auto scaling. The next concept of load balancer is auto scaling. Okay.
Okay,
In auto scaling, automatically we'll create a new machine,
okay,
third machine, to distributor to divert to balance the load. Amul, the understanding? Load
yeah,
balancer, extension of load balancer is auto scaling.
okay.
We'll see that.
It means like Flipkart uses that
Auto
break.
scaling feature.
Yeah, so Flipkart have to pay those.
Obviously, anything what AWS provides, they need to pay.
Yeah, like pay as you
Clients or
go.
customers needs to pay as you go.
Yeah, okay.
Number of minutes the EC2 machines are in running state. Suddenly, if the traffic is down, let's say traffic, Amul, so sale is only for 1 day from morning 10 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock. Assume.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
only for 1 day, morning 10 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock. After the sale, the traffic reduces.
correct.
When the traffic reduces, you don't need to maintain 3 machines or 4 machines. You want to reduce the machines. That is auto scaling.
Yeah,
That should also done automatically, because again we do why to increase the bill for the client, isn't it? So what we need to do, we will be automatically reducing, automatically increasing based on dynamic, because traffic is dynamic. We may never expect when the traffic is up, and we may never expect when the traffic is down. According to that, but the business should not get affected. All this will be handled by combination of load balancer and auto scaling. Okay. Today we'll discuss about load balancer, one part, and then not just load balancer, we also should learn about auto scaling. That's about the next session.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Fine. So let's go ahead and log into EC2 AWS. I think Srini, today's Independence Day, US, isn't it?
Sorry.
I think today's a holiday in US. You are from US, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's Independence Day. I'm right.
Not today. Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah. For Indian. Yeah.
Okay. So I have logged in. EC2 dashboard. Instances. These are the instances. Okay. Don't worry about the existing instances. I want to go ahead and create a new instance. So step one, what I do. Let's have a look at the process which we follow. Step one, we create a EC2 machine. Which one? First EC2 machine. Step two, what we need to do? We need to create one more EC2 machine. Minimum, we need to have 2 EC2 machines for load balancing, isn't it? So we create a Second one. That is step 2. Step 3. What is the next step? Step 3 is important. We'll create what? Load balancer, and then we attach EC2 machines to the load balancer. And then step 4. And step 4, let's experience how exactly the load balancer will behave. So this is our series of steps which we are planning. So let's start with creating the first EC2 machine. Creating an EC2 machine, we have done it yesterday, day before yesterday. It's pretty quick, and now we can go ahead and quickly create it within no time. As usual, I go with Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux, T2 Micro, one instance, and one more important point. I repeat again. Launch instance. Amazon Linux, T2 Micro. Number of missions, only one mission as of now. Comes with 8 GB storage. I want to name it diff later. Security group. What port needs to be opened? I want to open SSH port. I also want to open HTTP port. I also want to open HTTP port. Source should be from anywhere. That's fine. And let's name this as security group name. Our institute name Durga. SG stands for security group, and today is day 3. What ports I'm opening? This is the name of the security group. Take a note of it. Our name of the security group is this one, and what ports are open to this security group? SSH as well as HTTP port is open to this particular security group. That's fine. This is the name of the security group. Fine. Review and launch. Click on launch. Create a new gateway. Name of the key pair. This is web server. Amul, how to connect to this web server now?
By using PuTTY.
Can we connect to this web server? Amul?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
My point is, how can I connect to this web server? I have created a web server, is it?
Okay.
How to connect to this machine?
So by using HTTP port.
I have created a Linux machine. I need to connect to that Linux machine, and then I need to run the commands, right? Update the YAML repository, install the required package.
Installing the package. Sudo su yum repository.
So how to do it? How to connect to this machine?
Just
Sachin, how can I connect to this machine which I just created?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There are two options. One is through SSH because we have opened the SSH port, and another one is we have to open the PuTTY and then convert this PEM file to PPK, and then after decrypting this,
yes, I want to discuss about this. So there are, you mean to say there are 2 ways of connecting, right?
Yes, sir.
You mean to say there are 2 ways of connecting to the particular Linux machine which is created. What is the first one?
First one is through SSH, sir.
Using SSH. What is second way?
Second one is, sir, through the PuTTY software using the PPK key.
Okay, so first what we should do, we have what PEM file. The PEM file we
have
need to
to
convert it to PPK file. Once the PPK file is ready, then we use the terminal called as PuTTY. That is how the second way of connecting. Now tell me how to connect using first way. Tell me.
So using SSH, we just have to collect the IP address, which is, I think, the public IP address of that
Okay.
particular instance.
Okay.
And then using
And
that
then
instance,
this is the IP address. Fine. Next. Tell me. I have got my IP address. Next.
yeah. So I think this one is the private IP. Yeah.
Okay, whatever it is. You want public IP? 1 minute, please. Okay, you want public IP. Okay, next. Tell me how to connect using SSH. Sachin.
So as in my system, I'm using Linux. So I'll use the command SSH and then the
Did you establish
username.
Did you establish a SSH connection between your Linux machine to that Linux machine? Have you done it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then
So
I'll use
yeah. So, but in our case, what we best thing is to connect using PuTTY. And in fact, PuTTY also uses which protocol? SSH.
SSH. Yes, sir.
PuTTY communicates using SSH. Don't say it two ways. That's only one way. That's SSH. Even PuTTY uses SSH. Okay. So,
Okay,
so
sir.
first what I'm doing, Sachin, I use PuTTYgen. Load Durga KP. The file, right? Save. Same file. PPT. Next. Okay. User DNS. SSH authentication. Are you sure we want to connect? I have connected to the Linux. Next. Let's increase the font size for better readability. Yes. Next. I need to run some commands to make this as a web server. Yesterday we have learned these commands. Switch to root user. Update the M repository. Install HTTPD package. Change to the HTML folder. Create index.html file with content as my Google one.
So instead of HTTPD, can we take something else, because we did yesterday HTTPD? I mean, if that works to you.
Right now I don't have the code ready for installing other web packages. Okay. Okay. So let's check this ls file. Yes, so I have created the HTTP and then I want to start that HTTPD service. And I want to check the configurations. Open this particular configuration so that whenever we start the mission, automatically the HTTP web package gets started. So I'm done with first web server. So let us check whether web server are we able to access it from the browser. Take the public IP, try accessing the web server from the browser. Perfect. So web server is having, first web server is having content called My Google 1. It is having a content called one. Good. Second step, create one more web server. The second web server which I am creating is a different process. Please observe here. Creating second web server, launch an instance, Amazon Linux, T2 Micro, and here scroll down in step 3, that is in configuring instance. Scroll down under advanced details, under user data. Can you have this text box? In this text box, I'm specifying these commands. What are these commands? Switch to user, update the repository, install HTTPD, go to HTML folder, and then create a file with my Google 2 in the index.html, start the service and check config HTTP on. The same commands which I manually connect to Linux machine using PuTTY and then individually running those commands, the same commands I'm writing it is under advanced details under the user data. These are commands are called as bootstrap scripts. These commands are called as bootstrap scripts. Okay, the commands which you write here are called as bootstrap scripts. That means these commands gets executed. The machine is, once the machine is booted, booted is nothing but started. Okay, so what I'm doing after I complete all these steps, the machine gets started, right? Again, I don't need to connect to PuTTY and run the commands and install the web package. These commands gets executed automatically once the machine is started, and the web server gets created automatically. So whenever as part of creating EC2 machines, if your requirement is to run some commands automatically when the machine is started, those commands, you can write it here, those commands are called as bootstrap scripts. Clear about understanding the concept of bootstrap scripts?
So these commands we can
Yes.
Yeah, so these commands we can give anything or only certain commands only allowed?
Linux commands.
Only Linux commands. Yeah, but Linux we can commands. Give any particular task that can be published.
No, we should be Linux commands, or you can also write shell commands. Okay. And one more important point, you need to start with /. Can you see, Srini? These are the commands which we all execute generally manually in PuTTY, but one additional line you need to write it here in the bootstrap script is #! This is a symbol to identify that these are the bootstrap scripts, and you're clearly mentioning that I want to run these commands in the bash terminal. Okay, so whenever you open a Linux, whatever the terminal you open inside the Linux, that's called as a bash terminal. So you're clearly mentioning that I want to run these commands under the bash terminal. So this line is also very important. Okay, Srini?
Yeah.
So let's proceed again. Next, add storage comes with 8 GB. Next, I want to provide security group. When you are creating the first EC2 machine, you have opened how many ports? We remember we have taken a note of it. We have opened 2 ports. What are the 2 ports we have opened? SSH port and
HTTP port.
these 2 ports we have made it in the security group. We have created a security group, the Durga SGH03. Can I use the same security group in the second EC2 machine? Yes. Because we want again the same 2 ports to be opened in second EC2 machine. So I don't want to create a new security group. I open an existing security group. This is the first time I'm selecting an existing security group. What is the security group which you have created? Durga SG03. I think this is the security group which we have created. Am I right? Select an existing security group. That means again you can see here HTTP and SSH will be opened. Click on review and launch. Click on launch. I can choose an existing key pair. What is the name of the key pair? Durga KP.
We can also instead of HTTP, we can also give HTTPS as well, right?
Yes.
With the certificate.
So let's
And
name
those
it as that one. Yes. And what is the content in this server? Look at this wantedly I have index page. I'm writing it as my Google 2. Wantedly I'm placing different content. First EC2 machine is having my Google 1. Second EC2 machine is having my Google 2. Wantedly I have made the content different so that we'll experience the outputs. So step 1 we have created first EC2 machine. Step 2 we have created second EC2 machine. The new things what we have learned in the second EC2 machine is the bootstrap scripts. We can run it at the time of running the machine, and then we can use an existing security group rather than always creating a new security. Done. Step 3, create load balancer. Step 3, create a load balancer. AWS provides 3 types of load balancer: network load balancer, application load balancer, classic load balancer. When you're dealing with web servers, we should go for classic load balancer. When you're going for application servers, we go for application load balancer. So as of now, I'm creating a classic load balancer. How to create a load balancer? How to create a load balancer in the EC2 dashboard itself. Can you see here, scroll down, we have an option called load balancers. You do not have any load balancers. As of now, there are no load balancers. I am creating a load balancer. There are 3 types of load balancers, as I told you: application load balancer, network load balancer, and classic load balancers. So I'm going with, as of now, classic load balancer. What is the name of the load balancer which you're planning to create? I would name the load balancer as MyLB. Any name you can write it. That's not a problem. This is the name of the load balancer. What port? Security group again for load balancer also should receive the incoming traffic, right? So again for load balancer also we need to open the port. What port needs to be opened? I want to open same ports. Which one? SSH port and HTTP port and SSH port. So for that I can use an existing security group. So for load balancer also I can use an existing security group like EC2 machine. What is the name of the security group? I use select an existing security group. This one, Durga SG03 is the name of the load balancer which I want to use it for this. The name of the security group which I want to use it. Next, configure health check. As I told you, load balancer is having 2 responsibilities. Responsibility 1, distribute the traffic. As the name suggests, load will be balanced. That is responsibility 1. Responsibility 2 of the load balancer is it should monitor the health. It should check the health of the EC2 machine. How does load balancer check the health, whether it is running correctly or not? By sending a ping request. In networking, how do you check when one machine is connected to other machine? By using ping command, right? Using ping command, we mentioned that IP address to check whether the machine is pingable or not. Ping is nothing but checking whether it is connected or not. In the same way, load balancer will send a ping request. Okay. to EC2 machine. If EC2 machine is responding, that means it is healthy. If EC2 machine is not responding, that means it is not healthy. Am I right? That's how it should regularly monitor the health. This configuration is very important. Configure the health check. Yes, using HTTP, using ping, it will ping the health check. But here is response timeout. Response timeout is nothing but load balancer will send a ping request. Within how many seconds it should get the response? How many seconds the load balancer should wait for the response from the EC2 machine? Response timeout. I want my load balancer to wait for just 2 seconds. Within 2 seconds, the load balancer should receive the response from the EC2 machine. Response timeout. The number of seconds the load balancer will wait for the response of the ping request. Interval. How frequently we should monitor the health? Every 1 hour? Every 30 minutes? Every 10 minutes? Every 1 minute? Every 5 seconds. Every 5 seconds, I want my load balancer to send a ping request. Interval is nothing but the period. Every 5 seconds, my load balancer should verify whether the EC2 machines are up and running. Unhealthy threshold. What is unhealthy threshold? Look at this. Load balancer will send the ping request. EC2 machine is not responding. Should it try one more time? One time it is not responded. Should we give them the second chance? Number of attempts load balancer should do. Number of attempts load balancer should perform before declaring it as unhealthy. I want my load balancer to check second time. Unhealthy threshold. First time it will send the request. If it is not responding, one more chance. Again, load balancer will send second request. Second time also, if it is not responding, then it will declare it as unhealthy. Next, healthy threshold. Okay, let's say because of some network problem or because of operating system problem or because of whatever it is the reason, we have fixed the problem in the web server. Now web server is up and running. Now load balancer again will send the ping request because the interval is every 5 seconds. Right? It sends the ping request. Load balancer is receiving the response. But the first time it receives the request, should it declare it healthy, or second time also before declaring it as healthy, it should attempt one more time. Second time also, if you're getting the response, then I want to declare it as healthy back. Number of attempts the load balancer should perform to declare it as unhealthy. Number of attempts the load balancer should perform to declare it as healthy. Number of seconds. Every 5 seconds, I want the load balancer to monitor the health, and response time or waiting time for the ping response 2 seconds. So these are the configurations of my health check. Add EC2 machines. How many EC2 machines we need to add? 2 EC2 machines. This is a web server 2, and we also have web server 1. Perfect. These are the 2 EC2 machines which I am adding it to the load balancer. Click on next and click on review and click on create. I am done creating the load balancer. You have successfully created a load balancer. Yes, now you can see the load balancer in your dashboard. We have created load balancer. We have done some configurations inside the load balancer, and we have attached the EC2 machines of the load balancer. Done. Any questions?
Yes, sir. One question is there.
Yes. Sachin.
Sir, is there any way somehow means we are talking about that if our EC2 get failed, load balancer will automatically transfer the load to another EC2.
Second EC2 machine.
What if yeah, but is there any chance to that our load balancer will fail?
Is there any chance? Load balancer will never fail. That AWS guarantees.
Okay.
There's no downtime for the load balancer. It's not an EC2 machine.
Okay,
It's a predefined software, so it doesn't fail. So load balancer failure will not
So
happen. That is guaranteed by
means load
KLM.
service only.
Sorry,
Means load balancer is just a service only.
just a service. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's verify the second EC2 machine manually. We have tested first EC2 machine manually. I want to verify second EC2 machine is running manually or not. How to check second EC2 machine is running manually or not? Go to instances. Go to instances. Okay. Go to second EC2 machine. Where is second one? Take the public IP. Check whether the second EC2 machine. My Google 2 is second EC2 machine. Both are running. Now for the users. Does the user connects to the Flipkart or Amazon shopping site directly to the EC2 machines, or they should connect to load balancer? No, they should connect to load balancer. So we should give load balancer DNS name to the public. Go to load balancer. Go to load balancer. This is the load balancer. Can you see here load balancer DNS name? Copy the load balancer DNS name. Copy and provide the load balancer DNS name to the public. Now public will access the sites using the load balancer DNS name. Enter. Okay. Sachin, where are we getting diverted to? My Google
Sorry,
1.
yes, sir.
Nothing but what is the response output you're getting? My Google 1. That means load balancer has distributed the traffic to first EC2 machine.
Yes, sir.
Are you understanding? Are you understanding? Now I'm typing one more time. So we should divert the traffic to my
Sir, open another browser, sir. Okay.
It's taken from the cache memory. See, my Google 2 load balancer Srini has diverted the traffic to the, because it is my Google 2 index page wantedly we have mentioned different click refresh again. Maybe I need to open one more time. Again you're getting my Google 1, you're getting my Google 2, again you're getting my Google 1. So is it distributing? Have you observed, Sachin? It is sometimes you're getting my Google 1, sometimes you're getting my Google 2. That
My
is what
Google
load
2.
balancer is doing. Some traffic it is distributed to machine 1. Second traffic, a few more traffic it is distributing the traffic so that the load will not be on one EC2 machine, so that the sites will not go down. Yes, clear about this. So like this. So
how does it do internally?
No, it is already predefined software, so we don't need to worry about how exactly load balancer will run. What is algorithms written inside the load balancer? We just need to know the functionality and implement the functionality as per the requirements. Okay, we should only know the configurations and do the configurations as per the client requirements. Clear about this concept of load balancer? Okay, and I have one more doubt. So do you think the sites like Flipkart will have load balancer? Definitely yes. Now how are you accessing the Flipkart? Are we accessing the Flipkart like mylb -00 ap -south elb amazon.ez? Is it the way we are accessing the Flipkart? No, we are accessing the Flipkart using flipkart.com domain name, isn't it? So what you need to do is there something called, every company maintains their domain names, isn't it? So we have something called when users on the domain name, that domain name should be converted to what? Load balancer. We need to link the domain name to load balancer DNS name. Flipkart is having load balancer, Amazon is having load balancer, all the companies are having load balancer. So when you users, we don't give this particular load balancer DNS name to the users, isn't it? We provide a user friendly domain name. We link the domain name to load balancer. That is possible by using a service called as
Route 53.
In Route 53, we will learn how can we connect a particular domain name to load balancer DNS name. So we only write domain name in the address. It connects to load balancer, and load balancer will do its job of distributing traffic. Okay, here that is possible by using load balancer. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Wantedly, let's just shut down the first EC2 machine. Okay, failure scenarios. What do you mean by failure scenarios? Go to instances. We have two instances, web server 1, web server 2. Wantedly, I'm shutting down the EC2 machine. So the first EC2 machine is stopped. So as per the configuration of load balancer will send the ping request. As the machine is shut down, you will not get the response. Second time it will attempt the ping request after 5 seconds. Again, you will not get the response. So obviously the load balancer will declare it as unhealthy. So if anybody accesses the load balancer, you only get my Google 2. You should not get my Google 1. Now it is stopped. You should wait for 10 seconds to declare it as unhealthy. So you should not get my Google 1. So here we are getting my Google 1. Same load balancer time. You are getting my Google 2. Are you getting my Google 1? No, we are getting only my Google 2. Are you understanding? Okay. So because of in case of any failure scenarios also, your website will not be down. Load balancer handles the failure scenarios. So clear about this, clear about the concept of load balancer. And after practicing, very important, deletion process is also very important. Deletion process is also very important. How do you delete it? First, you remove the EC2 machines, web server 2 and web server 2. You need to stop the EC2 machines. If you don't want these EC2 machines permanently, you can terminate. When you click on terminate, that will be permanently removed. Shutdown is nothing but tomorrow you can again start it and practice. When you don't want the machine permanently, there's some option called terminate. Stopping is shutting down. Terminate is permanently removing the instance from your dashboard. So I have permanently removed the instances. Step 1, after practicing, deletion is also very important. Remove the EC2 machines. After removing the EC2 machines, what you need to do? You need to remove the load balancer also. Let's wait for the machines to get terminated. Yes, both the machines are terminated. Now go to load balancer in the dashboard. This is the load balancer actions. Delete. Are you sure you want to delete the load balancer? Yes. Load balancer is also deleted. Remember, after practicing, make sure you remove the machines what you have created. That's it. This is our plan for our today's session. Today, last session we have first session Windows machine, next session Linux machine. Today we have discussed about load balancer concept, which is very important. Practice this load balancer. Next session will be tomorrow. Which session we'll have tomorrow, even though it's a Saturday, but we'll have a session tomorrow we will be learning about the concept of auto scaling. The continuation of concept of load balancer is auto scaling. Both goes together in the real time. What is auto scaling? Auto scaling is all about creating the machines automatically. Okay? What is auto scaling? How do you configure this auto scaling? How do you create auto scaling based on the load balancer? So these are all topics of our tomorrow session. Any questions on today's session? Shavan?
Sunil, one
Yes.
question. So if if it is needed or something like that, is there any configuration in the load balancer such a way that the first 100 requests it should go to this one, and then the second next
second 100 requests should go to the second EC2
something
machine.
like
That is one
that.
scenario. Second
Yeah, that
scenario
is
will
one
be
scenario.
one machine we maintain it as primary region, primary machine. Second machine will maintain it as secondary machine.
Right.
Only when the primary region is down, then only it should go to the secondary machine, isn't it? Otherwise, traffic is only diverted to first region. That is one scenario. How the traffic should be distributed depending upon the region. Traffic from US should divert to the machine 1. Traffic from India should divert to machine 2. How do you route your traffic? That all can be handled using Route 53 service. Okay. Okay, Srini?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that will be covered later.
That is covered later. Okay.
So one more question.
Yes, Sachin.
Sir, we have created two EC2 machine and attached to the load balancer. If we want means one or two more machines to attach to load balancer, then we have to make some configuration into the load balancer.
Not
or
so
something
actually
else.
the load balancer dashboard, you can see we have created one load balancer na? Okay, go to actions,
Okay.
then there's an option called edit instances, and then here go to attach new
Okay.
instances. That instances which you are able to see, the new instances will here, you'll get it. Go to edit instances and add new instances. Automatically the new instances will be added to the existing load balancer.
And yes, sir. And is there any limit of EC2s, or
There
we
is
can
no
add
limit.
anonymous EC2s?
100
Okay.
EC2 machines also can do it. Not a problem. There's no restriction. Okay. The only
Okay,
thing AWS provides you bill as when there are more number of hardware. They're happy in fact. Okay. It's up to you how do you handle.
And totally depend. Yeah, totally depend on whatever the amount we'll pay. Yeah.
Exactly. Number of hours the machines are running, according to that you get the bill. Number of minutes, number of hours the load balancer is also running, you will get the bill. Okay, so that is the reason I have removed the load balancer after showing you. So you also, after creating the machines, they terminate the machines and delete the load balancer after practicing.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we also give a configuration such that so this number of what is the throttle, for example, like 825 requests per second the load balancer can handle. So such kind of a configuration also will be done at load balancer level or at the node level.
There is no such kind of restriction, so it handles unlimited traffic. Okay, there's something called EQ, elastic queuing system. Okay, where the request should be maintained in a queue. Okay, you can define the size of the queue according to that. The request should be maintained and then it will be processed by the load balancer. Okay, this are where in which there you can do some configurations of how many number of requests it should take in a minute or something like that. It is not part of load balancer.
So that is a part of the elastic
Queuing system.
Elastic queuing system that will be covered later, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
we will be covering later.
Okay, and will there be any max limit for the load balancer? This is the value.
No restrictions.
No restrictions.
Load balancer can have 100 EC2 machines also. Okay. Number of machine restrictions is not available.
The number of ports also not restricted, right?
Not restricted as per the requirements. You can add and remove the ports. Okay. Generally, ports are limited, isn't it? According to the protocol of communication, maximum 3-4 ports. That's it. Okay. So any port, but you can add it to your security group if you want to open it.
Okay. Sir, in the next session, could we look at Nginx web server if it is possible?
I will try. Okay. Right. The point is Nginx web server or Tomcat web server needs more RAM. This is only 1 GB RAM. Okay. Our machines which we are creating, Srini, it comes with only 1 GB RAM. Okay. If you want to demonstrate Tomcat or Nginx, the same thing. We will be writing the Linux commands. How do you write it on? How do you run it on Linux machine? We'll be running here on EC2 machines. Okay. But they need more RAM to run a Tomcat server or to write an Nginx server. Okay, so in that case, we will not use a free tier machine. We'll be going for other machines which are having 4 GB RAM or 8 GB RAM. So that will add billing. Okay, so that's the reason. But if I'll check it in case it's possible, I'll show it.
Okay, sure.
Ready? Okay, thank you. Bye everybody. Bye Sachin. Bye Bharat.
I have one question.
Yes, Amol.
Yeah, actually, so just we have seen the load balancing for Linux. So can you please show for Windows?
Windows Server.
Yeah.
I'll try. I cannot promise you. Okay.
Yeah, but
Same
is
thing
this the
happens.
same process?
Same process. See, these load balancer concepts, EC2 machines are not dependent on the operating system level, isn't it? We have created Amazon Linux in the same way, create 2 EC2 machines of Windows machines. Same, the load balancer concept will remain the same, right? Attach those machines, same configurations, right? The only thing is that you need to install web server on Windows. Amul. Now, how did you install HTTPD on Linux? By using that set of 4 to 5 commands. So if you know how to install a web server on Windows, install a web server on Windows. First, individually check whether that Windows web server is perfectly working or not by taking the public IP of that particular machine, connect from the browser, it should work. If you are able to successfully configure a Windows machine and able to directly test whether that particular web server, Windows web server, is perfectly running outside without linking to the load balancer, it should open it from the browser. If that is working, this concept remains the same. Are you understanding, Amol?
Yeah, if possible, can you please show it by tomorrow?
I cannot promise. I'll try, because we have every day we have some topic to be defined, is it? So today load balancer like this, every 30 days we have 30 topics. Okay, so but I'll try it. Okay, so Srini has asked me to show one Nginx or Tomcat, but I'm trying to show Tomcat, Srini, not Nginx. I'm trying for Tomcat because I've done Tomcat before. I'll try Tomcat and show it to you. And Amul, I'll also keep you a request on mine, and whenever possible, we'll see that.
Do we also need to know any kind of a specific language that we use here, or it is only the shell or Linux commands?
Basic Linux commands are enough. There's no need to learn any Python or something like that as per our country.
Because I remember in the contents I saw the Lambda or something like that, which I believe is
Lambda
used.
needs coding for that. What I'll be showing you a simple example of Lambda, how exactly Lambda behaves. For that, again, you don't need to. If you're learning in depth of Lambda, okay, you need to learn some coding. Okay.
But we use Lambda in AWS for what
Lambda
reason?
is used in AWS, okay. But our session is only one example which we are covering. Okay, just to know you the importance of Lambda, what is the job done by Lambda, not in detail of Lambda. Basics, very basics.
But one more last question, like do we also have any kind of a business logic somewhere, or it is only the configuration? And you know,
at the last I'll tell you a project scenario how exactly all these EC2 machines are integrated to have a to how exactly day-to-day on cloud infrastructure runs, and how these EC2 machines are integrated to each other. And then we'll have that kind of infrastructure scenario.
Okay. Yeah, and also could we talk as we go? I mean, it is a good session. I like it. The real-time scenarios.
The main objective of my sessions is to make conceptual knowledge clear. Okay, so I'll all bring you all to a ground level, strong ground level, basic level, where you will understand each and every service, strong to a basic level. From there, I want you to explore yourself and learn more in detail of each and every service. The objective, the target audience of these particular mission course content which I have designed is to bring all the participants to ground level in such a way that they can explore yourself. You can explore yourself, because we will be covering approximately how many services? I think 17 services. Am I right, Sachin? In the course content, I told you that I'll be covering 17 services or something like that. Okay. But if you compare the number of services with the number of duration, 17 services we are covering it in 30 days. That means each service we are covering at an average 2 days, isn't it? And that means we are not covering every service in depth. That you need to understand. We'll be covering each and every service basic, and the last 3 to 4 services which we'll be learning, which are very minor services, which practically there's no importance in the interview, but they are having importance with the certification point of view. So that is the reason we are covering those 4 to 5 services, which are very, very tiny services. The primary services which we'll be focusing in our course is EC2, what we are learning now, followed with S3, that is S3 bucket storage service, and then we'll discuss about identity and access management. Very important, how to create IAM users, how to create child users, and then we'll discuss about Route 53, what we are discussing, and then VPC. These are the primary topics which are covered, which will be more focusing on to know more conceptual knowledge. How exactly network will be defined, how exactly the subnets will be configured, how can we provide higher level of security. Clients will always worry about security, so security concerns in VPC, how do you handle it? So my target is to bring you to a basic level, strong in all the important services. From there you can explore. Okay. Okay, Srini? Sachin?
Yeah, but
Yes,
I mean, this is my personal opinion. Like, it might not take much time just to talk about the real-time scenarios because it's more of
Wherever
configuration.
possible, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
Especially
Yeah.
when we come across Route 53 service and VPC. These are the two
Since it
important.
is, yeah, since it is more of kind of a configuration, at least this is my personal opinion again. Since it is a more of kind of a configuration, there is no language or different types of contents related to the language is not required to learn. But in real time, if we get a problem, it might be a small parameter which need to be configured. But if we do not know, I mean, if we just talk about with your real-time experience, at least high level,
Yes,
do
that's
not
what.
need.
When my strength is VPC and Route 53.
Okay.
And identity and access management. Okay.
Sure.
So when we go, so there's no much concept of EC2 missions. It's all about virtual missions. So when we come across those points, so we'll be relating my experience. I'll be showing you how exactly the subnets needs to be configured, what are the pitfalls, and how can we perform higher level of security at network level, NSCL level, subnet level, VPC level. What do you mean by internet gateway? When should we use this internet gateway?
Right.
Okay, what is NAT gateway? When should we use this NAT gateway? What's the difference between NAT and internet gateway? What is public subnet? When should we go for creating public subnet? When should we go for private subnet? Okay, so these all, anyways, we'll learn wherever possible and do insights of my experience.
Okay. The last thing, like, would you mind to give some kind of assignment now or later?
I don't have any such kind of assignments. I request you to just practice whatever we are learning. Okay, that's enough for us. Okay, in case if I have some assignments, I'll write. I'll share it. If I have, I'll share it. Okay. Okay, Srini.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, Arvind. Thank you, Srini. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you.